Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're sharing the story of a man who thought he found love with a Thai woman, only for it to spiral into a tale of manipulation and betrayal. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. All right, let's get started.
After several failed relationships with women from his home country of Poland, Daniel decided to try something different. He created an account on a dating website focused on Asian relationships, hoping to find love across cultural boundaries. After chatting with several women, he became particularly interested in a Thai woman from Pattaya who caught his attention with both her beauty and seemingly serious demeanor. During their initial conversations, she shared what would later prove to be an entirely fabricated story about her past. She introduced herself as Thanya and told Daniel about her heartbreak with a previous Italian boyfriend. According to her tale, this Italian man was her first love and had promised to marry her and take her to Italy. They had been together for over a year before he suddenly returned to his country and, after a few weeks of online communication, completely disappeared from her life. Daniel, feeling sympathetic to her apparent heartbreak and eager to pursue a real relationship, didn't waste time. He quickly booked a flight to Thailand, specifically to Pattaya, to meet Thanya in person. Being his first time in Asia, he approached the situation with an open mind, though he had no specific expectations. Before his arrival, Thanya made a few requests. She asked him to bring 3 high-end hair curlers, claiming they were impossible to find in Thailand at that time. The items were for her and 2 friends. Daniel, wanting to make a good impression, happily purchased them, viewing it as a small gesture of goodwill. Upon arriving in Pattaya, Daniel checked into a hotel since Thanya lived in a dormitory with other women where visitors weren't permitted. She showed him around the vibrant coastal city, taking him to various restaurants and entertainment venues. Their connection seemed strong enough that she soon moved into his hotel room, explaining that she wanted to spend more time together. During his stay, they took a short flight to visit her mother, who lived in a small village outside of Pattaya. Despite the flight being only 30 minutes, Daniel found it strange that Thanya hadn't visited her mother in years, though he assumed it was due to financial constraints. They stayed at her mother's house, surrounded by her family members, and everything appeared pleasant and normal. However, things took an unexpected turn when Thanya expressed her desire for a diamond ring as proof of Daniel's serious intentions. Having European expectations about jewelry prices, Daniel assumed he could find something reasonable for around 2,000 euros. To his shock, when they visited an upscale jewelry store in a local mall, the ring Thanya selected was priced at approximately 25,000 euros. Daniel refused to make such an expensive purchase, explaining that it was beyond both his means and what he considered reasonable for a gift. This decision clearly disappointed Thanya, who insisted that he wasn't serious about their relationship if he wouldn't buy the ring. Although Daniel tried to reason with her, she wouldn't let the matter drop. After several days of tension, she explained that it was a Thai tradition, especially given her partial Chinese heritage, for the man to buy significant jewelry as a dowry. They eventually compromised on a gold necklace, though Thanya never seemed pleased with it and eventually gave it to her mother. Despite this early warning sign, their relationship progressed and Daniel brought her back to Poland, where they got married. Initially, life in Poland seemed promising. Daniel lived with his mother and daughter, and he hoped they could all coexist harmoniously. However, tension soon arose between the women in the household. Daniel found himself constantly trying to mediate and satisfy everyone's needs, but the situation became increasingly stressful. The situation reached a breaking point when Thanya, without any warning, left the house while Daniel was away. She had befriended their neighbors, told them disturbing stories about her situation, and they had helped her purchase a ticket back to Thailand. Daniel, unaware of her plans, became frightened when she disappeared and turned off her phone, especially since he knew she had limited funds. After several days of silence, Thanya finally contacted Daniel, blaming him for her departure but offering him a chance to fix things. Her condition was that they move away from Poland to cut ties with his mother. Daniel, still emotionally invested in the relationship, flew to Thailand to convince her to return. She agreed to try again, marking the beginning of what would become an increasingly troubling situation. Thanya persuaded Daniel to relocate to Germany, arguing it would provide better opportunities. Since Daniel had a job offer there through a contact, he agreed to the move. Initially, things improved, and Thanya became pregnant with their son. When Daniel's daughter visited and expressed interest in living with them, he was hopeful about reuniting his family. However, Thanya made life unbearable for Daniel's daughter. A minor incident involving his daughter eating Thanya's instant noodles escalated into a full-blown crisis. Despite Daniel's offers to replace the noodles immediately the next morning, Thanya refused to let the matter go and even called the police over the incident. This behavior led Daniel's daughter to return to Poland to live with her grandmother, creating a rift between father and daughter that would take years to heal. As her pregnancy progressed, Thanya began using it to manipulate Daniel into fulfilling her demands. After giving birth, she insisted on bringing her mother to Germany to help with the baby. Daniel agreed, hoping the additional support would improve their situation. Instead, it created new complications. Once her mother arrived, Thanya essentially abandoned her maternal responsibilities, spending most of her time on her phone or going out while leaving their son with her mother. The small apartment became a battleground of constant arguments between mother and daughter over trivial matters. The situation took an alarming turn when Thanya's mother began making inappropriate advances toward Daniel. One evening, while he was getting a drink from the kitchen, she attempted to kiss him, despite her daughter being merely 3 meters away feeding their son. The significant height difference between them prevented her success. But Daniel was shocked and unsure how to handle the situation without creating more problems. Shortly after, while Thanya was in the bathroom, her mother showed Daniel her phone with a Google Translate message declaring her love for him, requesting he keep it secret from her daughter. Disturbed by these developments, Daniel took time at work to clear his head before deciding to tell Thanya about her mother's behavior. Thanya's reaction was unexpected and hostile. She accused Daniel of lying and dismissed his concerns entirely. The situation escalated the next day when Thanya insisted Daniel fetch something from the basement, despite him running late for work. When he reluctantly agreed, her mother followed him down the stairs and made another aggressive attempt to kiss him. Frustrated and confused, Daniel angrily threw the requested item upstairs before leaving for work. After discussing the situation with his colleagues, who found the story almost unbelievable, he decided to confront the issue directly with evidence. When he returned home, he showed Thanya the Google Translate history on her mother's phone, proving his claims. This revelation led to an emotional discussion between mother and daughter in Thai, which Daniel couldn't understand. Although they appeared to reconcile, things only became stranger. Daniel discovered Thanya's mother using a cooking bowl as a toilet in the kitchen, and when confronted, Thanya explained it away as her mother being unable to hold her bladder. The situation reached its breaking point when Daniel discovered his morning tea had been tampered with. Upon investigation, it became clear that Thanya's mother had deliberately contaminated his drink. This incident finally prompted Daniel to insist on her mother's removal from their apartment. Though Thanya's mother initially moved to an upstairs apartment, she constantly tried to return, leading to more conflicts. Eventually, Thanya sent her mother back to Thailand, but this only marked the beginning of new problems. Over the next few years, Thanya's behavior became increasingly erratic and hostile. She would deliberately create uncomfortable living conditions, such as opening all windows in cold weather when Daniel needed to sleep after work. She frequently threatened to call the police with false accusations, claiming he was trying to kill her. The situation turned violent when Thanya attacked Daniel with scissors. Although he managed to defend himself, both sustained injuries in the struggle. Thanya seemed pleased about her wounds, viewing them as potential evidence against Daniel. She called the police, but Daniel had thrown the scissors out the window, preventing them from being found in the house. The complaint was eventually dismissed, but police visits became a regular occurrence due to Thanya's frequent calls. Their relationship deteriorated further as Thanya became more unhappy and suspicious. She began disappearing for extended periods, claiming to stay with friends but refusing to provide details about her whereabouts. When she announced her intention to leave with their son, Daniel attempted to prevent it, leading to another police intervention. The officers informed him he couldn't stop her from leaving. Before she left, Daniel noticed her unusual insistence on taking the baby stroller. After she departed, he discovered 3 packets of birth control pills hidden under the stroller's covers. Thanya disappeared for 3 weeks before returning as if nothing had happened. Despite clear signs of infidelity, Daniel remained hopeful about saving their relationship. 2 months after her return, Thanya announced she was pregnant again. Though Daniel had doubts about the child's paternity, his desire for a stable family and his isolation from his own relatives led him to accept the situation. With a second child on the way, Thanya demanded her mother's return to Germany. Despite his reservations and the significant expense involved, Daniel agreed to avoid conflict. However, New concerns arose when he noticed his son acting fearful around his grandmother, suggesting possible mistreatment. Life with Tanya and her mother became increasingly difficult. Tanya would only prepare food for herself, deliberately damaged Daniel's belongings while he was at work, and sold his expensive tools online without permission. When confronted, she blamed him for not providing enough money. She even fabricated stories at charity offices, claiming Daniel was denying her food and locking the refrigerator, successfully obtaining financial assistance under false pretenses. Eventually, Daniel moved to a separate apartment but maintained contact for the children's sake. Tanya exploited this connection, using the children to manipulate him into buying her various items like a new cell phone and television. She began revealing more about her past, including stories about meeting different men while working at an airport and how she had sold the hair curlers Daniel had initially brought her. Investigation of her devices revealed explicit photos from various hotel rooms with different foreign men, including a video with a pilot. It became clear that her story about the Italian boyfriend had been fabricated. He had merely been a vacation fling during his brief stopover in Thailand. As her mother's visa neared expiration, and knowing Daniel would no longer sponsor them, Tanya devised a plan to keep her mother in Germany. She created a dating profile for her mother and managed the conversations herself, eventually finding a 76-year-old pensioner she deemed suitable. After arranging a meeting where Tanya served as translator, it appeared her mother had found a solution to her visa problems. However, the situation soon unraveled when Tanya became jealous of her mother receiving 200 euros and a new jacket from the pensioner. She physically attacked her mother, prompting Daniel to intervene and remove the crying children from the scene. Tanya called the police, accusing her mother of theft when she refused to hand over the money. Daniel, concerned about his legal responsibility as her mother's sponsor, arranged for hotel accommodation and her return to Thailand. After her mother's departure, Tanya was occasionally seen with the elderly pensioner and the children, suggesting she had eliminated her mother to pursue the man herself. Meanwhile, Daniel attempted to move forward with his life and began dating again. Tanya alternated between trying to win him back with declarations of love and actively pursuing other men through dating apps. Concerned for his children's welfare due to Tanya's behavior, Daniel reported her to the police, but they declined to intervene, stating she had the right to live as she chose. When Daniel found a serious relationship, Tanya contacted his new girlfriend's family and friends, attempting to destroy his reputation. Finally, Daniel filed for divorce. The process proved surprisingly quick when Tanya revealed in court that her primary reason for wanting to remain married was to stay in Europe. The judge immediately granted the divorce upon hearing this admission. Today, Tanya continues to live in Germany, supported by social benefits and likely continuing to deceive unsuspecting men. She maintains the right to stay until their children reach adulthood and prevents Daniel from contacting them, claiming they fear him despite court documents granting him daily visitation rights. She blocks his attempts to reach them through social media and phone calls, making it nearly impossible for him to maintain a relationship with his children. In the end, Tanya achieved her apparent goal, living in Europe with access to foreign men and government support, no longer needing Daniel, who had served his purpose in getting her to Germany. Though Daniel remains concerned about his children's welfare, the authorities maintain that Tanya has her rights as their mother. The 5-year ordeal left Daniel with ongoing challenges, particularly regarding access to his children. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the risks of online international relationships and the importance of recognizing early warning signs. While some people find genuine love through online dating, others, like Daniel, encounter individuals with hidden agendas who can transform their lives into nightmares. The experience taught Daniel valuable lessons about trust, cultural differences, and the importance of maintaining boundaries. Though he lost years of his life and connection with his children to this deception, he hopes his story can help others avoid similar situations by remaining vigilant and paying attention to red flags in their relationships.